7 yards deep. Lets it go to the sideline. Pick six. Tommi Hill, the short run to the house.
Day by day, we get better and better. We get better and better. Till we can't beat beat. Till we can't beat beat. Won't beat beat. Won't beat beat.
Hey everybody, welcome. James here with Andrew, reacting to the game. A big W.
Voice is coming back a little bit.
Yeah. I was just saying that right before we hit record, I feel like second half was a little bit deflating. So my heart rate has come down because I had a couple hours for it to come down. But let's talk the game. What were your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, it really was a tale of two halves. First half I was enjoying it. I was up in front of the screen just talking trash to Shedeur every time he got sacked, which was a joy. But yeah, first half was dominant in pretty much every facet of the game. Second half, obviously referees were not good on both sides of the field there. Both teams got some questionable calls, and it's a bad sign when the analysts, the experts on there are like, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's bogus. I don't know why they did
that.
Yeah.
It would take a full episode to go play by play with all of the flags. So at one point, penalties were Colorado 7, Nebraska 3. And then we get to the fourth quarter and it's Nebraska 12, Colorado 8. Now I get it. It's not always supposed to be equal, but I mean, you could see jerseys being pulled every single play by the Colorado offensive linemen. And that was the only way they could protect Shedeur was by holding. So we don't have to spend all our time on that, but
it was target stuff, which I mean, Dylan got hammered in the pocket, helmet to helmet, whereas his face mask went up.
They didn't call that one, but then they called the one late hit that wasn't really a late hit on him.
Yeah.
I know. So good luck, Big 12. Good luck, Big 12, with your official. So we should have started here, though, Andrew. So last week you predicted a safety and 2 picks.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday when we recorded our show, I predicted that Tommi Hill would have a pick 6 in the first quarter and it would be a part of a 21-point onslaught. I said in the first quarter, but we were darn close to 21-0 in the first quarter. We hit 21 finally in the second quarter. So like, for those of you listening, like, share this with your friends, because if they want to know the future, you should listen to Day by Day. If you want to know the future, listen to this show.
Yeah, I tweeted that out. I said, you better be tuning in because what we call oddly specific predictions. And yeah, you nailed it. In fact, I told my wife when he picked it off, I said, James predicted, he predicted a pick 6. And then I go back and I kind of look at our messages from the previous podcast. I said, no, he predicted one by Tommi Hill in the first quarter. I think wild.
It was wild, man. It was funny. I started the game a little late. I was putting my boys to bed. My boys are little, and so they need their sleep. But while we were finishing up, we're actually reading a book about football, and fireworks went off. And so I told my son, and I said, "Hey, man, I think they just scored. You know, do you want to check?" So I got out my phone and I checked, and it said 7-0. So he's so excited. So he hasn't seen any of the game yet, and our youngest hasn't, obviously, either. So they were both in bed, but they're going to watch the game tomorrow, and I am so excited to watch it again with them. Yeah. But yeah, that first quarter was incredible with they go 3 and out.
Yep.
Punt right down the field, score.
I think a
sack on the first series, and then they punt back. We punt, pin them at the 2, and then on the first play, pick 6.
Yeah.
And then at that, and then when Ramir caught that, like,
wild bobbling,
almost pick, spin around, pirouette, bobble, it's our night.
Yeah. Yeah.
When was the last time that play happened to Nebraska?
You're right. And I couldn't get the Husker fan trauma out of me the entire game. It was like no lead was safe. All I could picture was Matt Schick tweeting something out about, there's no
It's
way.
impossible given
given the current score. Because
right, like given the current circumstances,
twice.
there's no way possible that Nebraska could lose this game.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't have done that to his wife, who's a Husker fan. So
no, but yeah, I mean, let's break it down a little bit. Like, what do you actually see in the game that impressed you?
Yeah, obviously, Nebraska's defense is legit. You look back last year, not many teams kept Colorado to 10 points,
right,
and Sanders to under 250 yards passing, and Nebraska did both today. I don't think Nebraska respected their run game all that much, but when you got Ty and Nash in the middle, I mean, there were in the first half, there were several plays where we were rushing 3 and getting home.
And it was almost like you knew we were going to get there. I hadn't felt that since 2009 with Sue and Crick and Barry Turner. And it was like, you just knew they were going to get in that QB's face and cause havoc every play. So,
I mean, and Cam was in there, Prince, MJ Sherman,
Bullock,
James Williams got shafted on that offsides when he had the sack. He was not offsides. He timed it right, but you love the effort of that defensive line. And they said that's the strength of the team. It's going to carry them, and they're going to need them in Big Ten play. Now they might not always get home with rushing 3 or 4, but what I did take away was, this is the best skill position. Colorado has better skill players than any team Nebraska is going to play outside of Ohio State. Maybe USC. But that bodes well because they shut them down.
Yeah. Yeah. What are they going to do to a mid-level team that likes to throw it around the yard but doesn't have the athleticism as Shedeur does?
So now for me, what stood out to you? I mean, so defensive line, I got other thoughts about coming up. Matt Rule in the postgame said, we don't have the right to look ahead. We're fans. We have the right to look ahead. So I want to do that here in a minute. But what stood out to you outside of defensive line?
Yeah, I mean, that's where it starts on defense. I can't say a whole lot about the secondary. I think they stuck with guys pretty well. You had Travis Hunter get free, and I didn't think tackling was really that big of an issue tonight. I thought they flew around hard.
It's good.
I'll say offense, like Dowdell is a surprise. And you can see he's got it. He's speed. He's got he can jump over the line. He can jump, at the goal line. I mean, he broke Shiloh's arm, for crying out loud, trying to plow through him at the end. He's just got.
I actually missed that play, so I need to go back and see that play. But I haven't seen it yet.
It was very similar to what he fumbled on last week. So it was kind of a goal lines in sight dive. He did cover the ball with 2 hands, but Shiloh's helmet, kind of hits him low. So that concerned me a little bit. But yeah, he's a good back. I think the Ramir and Dowdell 2-man punch was pretty good tonight.
And how about Barney, man? They want to get him the ball, and the guy can scoot.
Mm-hmm.
That 51 yard, he had that 51 yarder that was kind of a bogus holding call on Ramir.
When Ramir blocked the guy to the ground.
He blocked a guy down, he pushed him down. And I don't think the refs realize you can actually push someone down when you block them.
It's not a tackle.
So
pancakes are not tackles.
Yeah. Well, what really impressed me also on offense was no turnovers. Yeah. Right. No picks for Raiola. I don't think they actually. I mean, what did you think of the offense? I saw a lot of hubbub on Twitter. People getting on Satterfield. I do think the offense was pretty vanilla in the second half. I have my reasons for why I think that, but what were your thoughts on just the offense as a whole outside of Dowdell?
I mean, it was lacking the flash tonight. I think Dylan did what he needed to. I think when you're up that big, you want to step on their throat. I think the run game is what was a little disappointing, that we didn't just step on the gas there, that our linemen didn't, get that momentum that they tend to get. I was looking for kind of a 7-minute drive, rush 8 straight times down the field. That didn't happen. I thought they got after us pretty well, Colorado. I mean, they got pressure on Dillon, and so he had to resort, and I think it was some freshman nerves, but he had to resort to a lot of screens and a lot of tiny out routes and things like that. But I'm not complaining. I mean, like you said, they took care of the ball in the moment. You're trying to protect that lead, is what it is.
We held the ball for 35 minutes, 35 and change. They're about 24 and change. We only had 334 yards of offense, but with all the penalties, and again, I just think some of those were really bogus. I don't think Big 12 I don't think Big 10 refs are the best. We had Big 12 in this game. So, but from what I saw, like I said earlier, good luck, Big 12. So you lose a lot of momentum. You lose a lot of flow with that. Again, we had a 51-yarder called back, a 69-yarder. I get the holding on Scott. Yeah, that probably was holding, but Dillon only had 7 incompletions. He didn't throw any picks. We still ran for over 4 yards a rush. So second half was really slowed down. My take is they didn't ask Dillon to do a whole lot.
Yep.
And I actually think I think the run concepts they were calling weren't that complicated. You saw at some point Colorado putting 10 guys in the box.
Yeah.
And again, when you're up 28-3, you don't need to throw picks.
Yep.
Run some clock off. If you get a couple first downs, great. Punt it away. Colorado wasn't going to score. They scored on that one, that one drive after the block field goal. Special teams are an issue still.
Kicking, man. I mean, I know Alvano, Rule loves Alvano. Talks a lot about him, what he did in high school in that stadium, but that was high school. Something's off. So
something's off. You got to hit 32-yard field goals.
Yep.
When you trot out there, they're chip shots. You got to hit them.
Left hash. Yep.
Yeah. Especially from the left side. So,
but I mean, we blocked one. I thought
we did block one.
I thought
we did block one.
Yeah, blocked one. Barney
didn't
break anything.
Buschini,
go ahead.
Buschini had a good night. He had the one that was blocked. I don't know if that's on him. I haven't looked back at that replay, but he had a good night in terms of punting outside of the block.
Yeah. And IGC caught punts and ran with them. I think they've really tried to do away with the fair catch punts, and there were some tricky ones that he was able to get on and at least get 5, 6, 10 yards out of. So
I actually say that's a great point, because he caught that one running up, and he caught it at the 30 and went down, almost like go for the ball. But he sprinted to get that ball to catch it so that it didn't bounce and we lose 15, 20 yards and they down it inside the 10.
Yeah.
And so that was actually a big play. I have to go back to find out where that was, but it's stuff like that. That doesn't show up in the box score, but he probably saved 15 to 20 yards by making the catch. But yeah, you're right. He did have a few other returns. And man, I just go back. I love Barney on the kickoffs, those reverse sweeps, screens. He's a guy that we've been missing for years.
He is. He's he's kind of a DeMornay Pearsonell.
Yep.
Can do some of that stuff. And I think he's Dillon's roommate from what I hear. So they've got some chemistry, and it's going to be a good duo. I'd like to see the tight ends get involved more. I just feel like Fedoni we're missing something there. Now I know we're not playing against a big heavy set, Big Ten type school.
He had a catch, and then Borkacher had that nice. He converted like a 2nd and 20. Yeah, shout out Aurora. My wife's from Aurora, so shout out to Nate Borkacher from Aurora, Nebraska. It's good to see him get in, but I agree.
Yeah, but you know what? Grand scheme. Even though second half, I like what Rule said at the end. He goes, "Hey, I'll take them anyway. I'll take a 28-10. That looks pretty good to me. People aren't, nationally, they're going to see that score. They're going to see the sacks and the defense, and people aren't go dissect. Oh, that was an ugly third quarter. Nebraska's not what they say they are. I mean, it's
Yep.
recruits had to have loved what they saw too, I think.
100%. I'm looking back at at an old Husker game. It kind of reminded me of, back Nebraska played Notre Dame in 2001 in Lincoln. And this game reminded me a lot of that game. And I'm looking at the box score. It was 27-3 at halftime. And then the final score ended up 27-10.
Yeah.
And so one thing I had mentioned last week in our episode, or I guess earlier this week, was it if Nebraska gets up 21-0, it's kind of that reverse adversity where you have to keep the pedal to the metal. And no, we didn't win 42-10 or 56-0 because it was 28-0 at half.
Yep.
But what they didn't do was give up a huge lead. They didn't melt under pressure like so many Husker teams of the past. And they handled it. And I love what Rule said on the field in the post-game interview. I'll take, like you said, I'll take 28-10 any day. So
I think we get caught a little bit. Obviously, the Dylan hype from all off season last game.
Yep.
We want to get out there. We want to be entertained. I think we forget. We forget what's goal number one. Let's win games. We need somebody going to protect the ball. I mean, no turnovers by quarterbacks 2 weeks in. Last year it was 8, 9 at this point. 2 weeks in. So
we had a few broken plays, right? You saw those where somebody ran the wrong way. Dylan took a knee or just slid down. To be honest, I'm glad that he had those moments. So he might not have been the problem. It might be somebody else. But whoever was at fault, I'm glad he had those moments in a game of this magnitude on national television against the opponent that we were playing, and yet we still won by 18 points.
Yeah.
And so
we've had QBs in the past that would have fumbled that snap or would have tried to throw it into coverage, and he just makes the right decision, I think is key. Yep.
And one of the best things for me was seeing how excited he was to get back on the field after, was it Cam who had that strip sack in the fourth quarter? Dylan's running back on the field, and you're like, you know what? The second half is something he's going to go back and watch and go, I could have done this, could have done that. Okay. Yeah. But he was excited to be there.
Yeah.
And so when you have a quarterback who can do the things that you just described and take care of the ball, and then loves this place, feels like the sky's the limit. And I was nervous today. I told my wife, I said, I'm a grown man, but I want you to know that I have a pit in my stomach, like I'm going to watch my own children play.
Yep.
And I'm like, I feel like I'm going to one of their games, and I'm nervous. I had this nervous energy. I was working on house projects, listening to football, watching football all day long. I was nervous all day. I'm still a little nervous because I'm nervous, excited now, because I'm like, okay, now we got Northern Iowa. Now next week is another week where we get 108 guys in the game. And then it starts. Then the season really starts.
Yep.
Big 10.
Yep. I think we got to talk about joy. I felt some joy watching the demise of Prime, and
let's go. Let's do it.
I don't want to celebrate his son's injuries. Hope they're great. Hope they can recover and get back at it. But watching Shedeur just get messed up by our D line just brought joy. Watching Prime just kind of look like game plan out the window halfway through the quarter was awesome.
And did they give up?
They kind of felt that. I kind of felt that way, and I question, what are they in it for? Like I just feel like if I made that joke, maybe Shedeur is going to sit out for and prep for the draft or something. But it's almost like this was their season, and now it's gone.
Was Shedeur injured? He left the field.
I don't know. He did. I mean, he got his bell rung a little bit on that when Bayer hit him with the forearm, because he got up and stumbled a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think he returned after that.
Well, he had his pads off and he left. And if he's injured again, I hope he's well. But it was just weird to see.
It's not a little petty to avoid the handshakes and all of that too. So we'll see whether he did or not.
You kind of wonder.
Yeah, James. So what do you think of? Did you get any joy out of watching Colorado?
100%. It was delightful. I mean, watching Michigan melt down in their home stadium on national TV was pleasurable. It was
Okay.
wonderful. It was just like, watching Iowa lose on essentially a last second field goal. Had a few seconds left, but
Yep.
it was amazing. And then seeing Notre Dame, a 28.5 point favorite, go down to Northern Illinois was tremendous.
Yeah. Who has
And
done
so,
to us before in Lincoln? Northern
right.
Illinois.
And so I'm thinking like this day is not shaping up well for favorites. And so it's not going to go well. And then obviously Nebraska did what they did. So there was so much joy. And I hate Colorado just because they're Colorado. I would worry if Colorado ever got a coach that I actually really loved and respected. Like people, they hate Texas, and people had some mixed feelings with Texas and Michigan today. I actually really like Steve Sarkisian. I think he's a good dude. We obviously don't know him personally, but he seems respectful and respectable and like just a good coach.
Yeah.
And so I got nothing against the current Texas regime, right?
Yep.
I don't think I could ever root for Michigan after last year. But I would worry if Colorado ever got a coach that I liked. So,
yeah.
But for right now, oh my gosh, so good to see.
And
them.
we don't have to think about next year. It's nice to have kind of a monkey off your back. Like
we don't know when we're going to play them again.
Yeah.
So it just felt good to you could see it in Colorado's faces. They were melting down on the inside. Their linemen were dejected.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders looked lost. Like you could see it. You look lost.
Yep.
And it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yep.
So
interesting to hear his comments. I know it's going to be probably about his kids. Hopefully they're okay again. But yeah. Hey, one last question. Any thoughts on storming the field tonight?
Let them do it. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Students, man. I don't think there were any old people down there, but students, let them enjoy it. We've needed this. Universities needed this.
Go watch Josh Peterson and Jack Mitchell talk about
I saw Jack's kind of rant on it. It was good.
Absolutely. Like if you didn't see it, what they were talking about was we just got to kind of stop the gatekeeping of, oh, that's above us, or we're above that. We don't need to storm the court, whatever.
We haven't been to a bowl game in 7 years.
And their point was, we're going to lose a whole generation of fans if they don't get to see wins, if they don't get to see something enjoyable about the program. So heck yeah, let those students get out there and storm and have a memory that hopefully will bring them closer to the program. So
the future starts now.
Yeah,
the future's looking bright.
We're 2-0.
We're 2-0. All right. Well, we'll tune out here, and we'll come back later next week with our preview for Northern Iowa. Next week, same time, I think 6:30, right?
Yep.
Another night game at Memorial Stadium. So, all right, man, I'm so excited. We're recording this at 11:20, and I don't think I'm going to go to bed anytime soon. Hopefully, go watch Oregon lose here. We'll end with this. I'm going to ask you: is Nebraska going to be ranked on Monday?
No. I'm going to say no. I want to believe it, but
I think we sneak in at 24.
I mean, you see the media tonight. They didn't even want to talk about how well we played. It was all about just their surprise about Colorado.
We should record another episode. Who was worse, the refs or the whole NBC production? I thought the production was terrible.
It just didn't for your primetime game. It's Colt McCoy's first time calling a game. And it just felt
could use some help.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, like, share, do all the things. And we'll see you next time. Andrew, soak this one in, man.
Will do.
All right. Go Big Red.